Jared, have you flushed last season, or are you still kind of looking back at it and saying, you know what, I wonder what would have happened had we've been together the whole season, yourself and Drew?
Um, you know, there's still some plays on the film that haunt me, and of course, we're still going back over those plays and running through them. But there's still plays that haunt me that I still wish I could have back. So it's still, uh, learning from those, talking through them, getting a rapport, getting on the same page. Because it's a lot different when you're going through a season. You're on to the next week. You don't have a lot of time to just sit there and reflect. But now we have that time, so we're doing that, and hopefully this season will be a lot different, being that me and Drew do have a full season together and more time. So, it's just working through those things and continually get better.
Our next question is from Luke Johnson. Luke?
Hey, Jared, kind of in that vein, is there a way for you to kind of carry that momentum from the way you ended last season into this season, or is it just all kind of starting from scratch?
Um, being that I was here last year, it's a lot easier than coming in fresh off the street. So now, Drew knows how I run routes. He knows the indicators that I give, and that helps quite a bit in gaining rapport with your quarterback. So hopefully this year we're a few steps ahead than last year, and we can pick up a lot better. We've kind of felt that so far in practice, and hopefully it just continues to get better. And once the game starts, it just continues to grow and hit a lot faster than last year.
Next question is from Sean Fazende. Sean?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, sorry about that. I guess similar to the previous question, what did you attribute that November, December to? I mean, you kind of exploded towards the back half of the season. What did you kind of attribute that to?
That's when you want to click, right? So you want to play your best ball in November going into December, especially when you're trying to get into the playoffs. And that's when we really needed it. And I feel like me and Drew just had that time to connect, that time to work, and that time to understand each other. Um, After that bye week is when we really had to step it up from me and Drew's perspective, because I missed the 2 weeks before the bye week and he missed those first five. So coming off of the bye week, we knew we had to really push and catch up with the rest of the guys on the team that had already been playing in those games. So it's just continually to work on that and work through that.
Next question is from Amos Morale. Amos?
Yeah, Jared, you mentioned a few plays that still kind of haunt you from last season. Did that influence how you approached or attacked the off season as to what you looked to improve on?
Not necessarily. My work ethic is going to be my work ethic regardless of what happens. Now, what I do is I go back and learn from those plays on what I could have done different in the moment. But when you're moving 100 miles an hour, it's a little difficult to evaluate that. So my work is always going to be my work. It's just how do I get better and continue to improve each year, and improve now that I've had this offense under my belt for a year. I should be playing faster and improve and keep getting better as my second year in this offense.
Next question is from Catherine Terrell. Catherine?
Hey, Jared, I was wondering if you could elaborate more on those plays that y'all have been going over. Specifically, just what moments from last season are the ones that stand out the most, if you can share that with us?
It was a couple in the Atlanta game that me and Drew missed each other on. We already talked about those early this past week and kind of cleared the air. And it's just plays like that. It was one early in the Tampa Bay game where Teddy overthrew me. There was another one in the Seattle game. It's just continually going over plays and talking through them and making sure that you never make the same mistake twice. and how do you grow from last year into this year, and continue with that same mentality of not making the same mistakes. So it's just going over it, revisiting it. It sucks to revisit. That's like the worst part, but it makes you better for it.
Next question's from Amy Just. Amy?
Hey, Jared. Yesterday, Saints announced that there wouldn't be any fans for Game 1. I guess what was your reaction to that, and the potential for there not to be fans at several games this season, whether it's home or away?
I definitely think it's a bummer. Fans motivate us. Having people in the stands, crowd control, they influence the way the game goes. They influence snap counts, influence and motivates defense and make it loud and harder for opposing offenses when they're in the building. So I think, it's going to definitely be different, and it's going to take some getting used to. You're definitely going to be able to hear all the calls from both quarterbacks, ours and theirs, and opposing offenses, and calls from the defense as well. So it's definitely going to take some getting used to. But, we got to stay safe. We got to keep everybody else safe. I couldn't imagine, with the way things are going now, how they would play with a full-packed stadium with COVID going around now. So hopefully they'll have it figured out, and hopefully the fans can start piling in soon.
Next question's from MT. MT?
Hey, Jared, can you tell me what impressed you most about Michael Thomas, getting to watch him up close during that historic season last year?
Probably his work ethic. He every route he runs hard, whether it's a walkthrough or whether it's regular practice. And also he has very strong hands. He's a big receiver that knows how to use his body to get open. And, at the catch point, he attacks the ball, and you're not going to get the ball away from him if you're a DB. So I think he plays well for his size and uses his size as an advantage, which you don't see in a lot of big receivers. A lot of them, don't run as well or attack the ball as well as Mike, but he does a great job at doing that and also getting in and out of his breaks.
Next question from Luke Johnson. Luke?
Jared, I'm wondering if the way the coaching staff approaches like turnovers, ball security is different here than in some of your previous stops, and maybe if it's not just the coaches, maybe Drew and his approach to it.
I think it's a heavier emphasis on it here, verbally. I think Coach Payton, says it the best. He always says you're carrying everyone's hopes and dreams when you have the football in your hands. So I think that's the perfect example and a perfect way to put it, because that ball is gold, and when you're running with it, it's imperative that you do all you can to secure it and hold on to it. A lot of other places, they really don't emphasize it. It's just kind of scrolled over in the initial meetings and the first week's meeting, and then you work on it in practice. But here, they really harp on it. Even the first meeting this past week, he had a whole slide on it and how it affects your season as well as your games and the turnover differential. So that's one thing that he really harps on here for sure.
Next question's from Amos Morale. Amos?
Hey, I know with all the new safety protocols, the testing daily, dividers in the locker room, have you kind of gotten a sense of what practice is going to be like, or if any of these protocols are kind of going to affect the way you guys do things moving forward?
I really think that it only affects what we do off the field for the most part. The good thing about having confidence in being on the field is everybody is tested negative. We haven't had any positive cases in the building, so they're really doing everything that they can outside of the locker, or in the locker room and around the halls, in order to ensure there's no spread and that everything is clean. Now on the field, you know, if we've had kind of like this acclimation period, but as far as on the field, everything's pretty much normal, which is great. I couldn't imagine trying to be in this heat down here playing with a mask on. So we're just business as usual. Everybody's getting better. Everybody's practicing together. So, you know, it's business as usual.
Next question's from Rod Walker. Rod?
Hey, Jared, what have been your impressions of Jameis Winston so far? Just kind of seeing him for the first time.
Jameis is, I feel like he's a good quarterback. He's still trying to get used to this system. But when he steps into that huddle, man, it's definitely business. And he wants you to look him in his eyes every time he calls a play to make sure he got it and to make sure he has it. So he's definitely a character and fun to have around the locker room.
Is that why you had the big smile when I asked the question?
Yeah, I'll get somebody else to tell you the story about him stepping into the huddle.
Next question's from Caroline Gonzalez. Caroline?
Well, now I want to hear the story. But anyway, Jared, we were talking to Zach Shreve earlier, and he was talking about the importance of having guys that are self-starters because of not having fans in that first game. And he said it was going to be easier on the defense to have those self-starters because of hype men. In your opinion, after a year on this team, who's the biggest offensive hype man? I couldn't think of one either.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I would probably say T-Stead or maybe AK. Because usually when Double D gets started in practice, it's either T-Stead, AK, or Mike T that goes back at him. So I would say one of those three guys that are probably self-starters. And they really get everybody else going as well on the offense.
Next question from Catherine Terrell. Kat?
Okay, hopefully you can hear me with my headphones on. We had some problems.
Oh, I can hear you all right.
Okay, good. Maybe it's too loud. I was just curious, did you get a chance to work with Drew or any of your teammates in the offseason, or did you kind of go at it alone this year?
Nah, I went at it alone this year. With everything going around, it was just really tough. I wasn't really traveling anywhere. I was just keeping myself safe as well as my loved ones safe. So I really didn't get any work with anybody or travel anywhere.
Next question's from Christopher Dunnels. Chris?
Hey, Jared, just want to see if you could speak on your impressions, if you have any, on some of those young tight ends that have joined you, like Adam Troutman.
Yeah, Adam's doing a great job. He's adapting to the offense really well. I think he played a lot of this offense he played in college, which has helped him kind of come in quick and adapt. He's getting a lot of reps. He has good, strong hands. He runs good routes. So I'm excited. It's been pretty cool to have him and a young guy that can come in and contribute this early so far in camp. It's been easy. It's been an easy transition to have him kind of step up and run a lot of plays with the ones. So I'm excited to see what he continues to bring to the team.
Next question's from Sharif Hashak. Sharif?
That was good, Mackenzie. All right, Jared, just Tommy Stevens, the transition he's making from quarterback to tight end. How much are you helping him? How difficult could it be for someone like him just making that transition right now?
Pretty tough. The first week he was kind of running with the quarterbacks, and now he's transitioned a little bit full time into the tight end. So, tight end's all about the mindset, man. It's about what you bring to the table and how dirty you want to get your nose. And I think that's one of the biggest things he has to get used to is playing tight end. And then, just technique stuff. He catches the ball really well. It's just all about blocking technique. It's about how you come out of your stance. It's about his releases off the line that he has to get used to. And they've been working with him. Declan Doyle and Coach Dan have been working with him a lot. And he actually had a lot of improvement today. So hopefully he continues to improve.
Next question's from Rod Walker. Rod?
Hey, Jared, this is a non-Saints question, but did you get a chance to see George Kittle's contract today, and just what does that say for tight ends?
I did. it's huge. For tight ends, especially young tight ends across the board. You know, how I feel is, we do the most, other than a quarterback, we do some of the most work on the offense, and not all the time we're compensated for that. So to see him be able to emerge as one of the best tight ends in the league and come in and get a deal like that, it helps out a lot of the younger tight ends in this league, and I hope they're paying attention because if you put up numbers like him, if you work hard and continue to run routes and block like him, work like him, it pays off, which is awesome. So congrats to him, and that does nothing but help out the tight end market. So huge for him.
Next question's from Luke Johnson. Luke?
Jared, I think when people think about a guy playing quarterback at 41 years old, if people just make assumptions about what that person's game is going to be like and make assumptions that somebody's going to fall off, what's kind of informed your opinion of Drew and your year that you spent with him of why he's able to keep it at such a high level into his 40s?
I don't think that's. I think that's just football in general. Once you get a certain age, people start to doubt and discredit the things you've done as if age is a bad thing all the time, and I don't necessarily think it is. It's people that are 40 years old that are still running the same way when they were 30, and when it comes to Drew, I think it's all about his work ethic, and I think it's about his understanding of the NFL and the game, right? So, he might be 40, but his wisdom is off the charts. We were talking about this in the locker room this week. He's seen every single defense that you can play in this league multiple times over and understands how to beat it. So whenever our defense gets to talking or they script read, is what we call it, we know that Drew is going to be able to get to the right checks and understand what the pressure or what the defense is trying to give us and be able to check out of that. So the wisdom and how you play the game is something that can never be coached. And I think that's one of the things that you get when you get with Drew, and I'll gladly take that any day, because a lot of times when you get a young guy behind center that doesn't necessarily have that or understand what it takes, that's when the danger comes, and you never want to feel like you're being put in danger. So I'll take Drew any day, any day.